We'll run through some of the potential severe weather over the next couple of days in parts of the Midwest and the Ohio River Valley to the East Coast, but we're also watching the Atlantic. A storm system is taking a turn that could affect Florida in the coming days. So we've been watching this system. We talked about it on Monday, the National Hurricane Center, and we're going to talk about that more in a minute. We'll talk about the severe weather potential within the continental U.S. first, but then more about the tropical weather here in just a second. But Ohio River Valley, Indiana, Ohio into Kentucky, southwestern Illinois, slight risk for severe weather today. Mostly a wind threat. We're going to see some potential for some high wind gusts. Storms are already going in parts of Illinois, but we expect more storms to develop and continue to kind of bow out across Indiana potentially. So this is 4 p.m. this evening, and then that'll continue into Kentucky, Ohio, parts of West Virginia, and again, it's mainly a high wind threat. There will be some potential large hail, but mostly this area you can see from Illinois into Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, potential for some of those severe wind gusts, maybe in excess of 60 miles an hour. Then it's a marginal risk tomorrow into tomorrow night, similar areas, and then into the east here, the East Coast will see that, and that will be the same case here as we head into Saturday and Saturday night. Most of the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, marginal risk. That's only level 1 out of 5. But then also maybe in the northern plains and into Minnesota, potentially Saturday night could see some storms. But yeah, the National Hurricane Center is giving this a 60% chance of becoming a tropical cyclone, at least a tropical depression within the next several days. And we are watching potentially Florida and the Gulf Coast here for where that storm is headed next. Now, this is a change from what it looked like earlier in the week. Of course, a lot can happen in many days of weather when we're tracking a large area like the Atlantic. Right now, it's just a mass of clouds starting to enter the Caribbean, but what had looked like mostly staying out in the Atlantic track is now starting to move into the Gulf of Mexico, and that's a bit of a problem. We'll show you why here in a minute. So current ensemble probabilities from the European model puts it into the Gulf of Mexico here over the next several days, crossing over much of Cuba, Dominican Republic. Now, this is a shift from Monday when that was mostly being kept out into the Atlantic. So that's the change in just several days here of tracking this particular system. And the reason this is a problem is because the waters are very warm in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And really all the models agree. This is the Canadian, American, European model, varying intensities, but you can see the track based on the wind gust swaths that it is all kind of looking at that eastern Gulf Florida area. And there's gonna be a lot of rainfall. This is gonna be a slow moving system with a lot of moisture. The purple areas are more than a foot of rainfall. So if that falls in the wrong areas, along with any potential storm surge, if one develops, that could be an issue. And we've been talking about this all spring and summer. The Atlantic is very warm. Everything in orange and red is above normal, but in particular, the eastern Gulf of Mexico, which is where the models have this system now headed, these temperatures are way above normal. 90-degree water here off the coast of Florida. So we've been talking about this also. Rapid intensification of these storm systems is going to be a possibility with this one as well. Now, the American model is a little faster than the others. It has a system reaching that area in Sunday here, the Panhandle area of Florida, and then back out into the Atlantic where it could bob around in the warm waters there, and then where it heads next, anybody's guess. But all the models agree on that area. It's just a matter of, is it Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday in the next week?